Hello, welcome to my channel. So today I read a Japanese ghost story. So the title is Rokurokubi. So it means long neck ghost in English. It is a famous yokai in Japan. So let's get started. The sun was slowly sinking behind the mountains. The sky turned soft shades of orange and pink. The light became warm and quiet. A gentle breeze moved through the trees. The leaves whispered softly to each other. In a small village, people were finishing their day. A woman folded her laundry outside her house. She moved her hands slowly, one cloth at a time. The fabric swayed gently in the evening air. A man closed the wooden door of his small shop. The door made a soft sound as it shut. He looked up at the sky for a moment, then nodded to himself. Children walked home along a narrow path. Their voices were quiet now, softer than before. Their laughter slowly faded into the distance. Everything was calm. Nothing was hurried. Nothing was loud. It was the kind of evening that made the heart feel at ease. At the edge of the village, there was a small house. It stood a little apart from the others. The roof was old but carefully repaired. The wooden walls were clean and smooth. Near the entrance, a small garden rested quietly. White flowers bloomed there. They were simple flowers. Not bright, not large, but they were gentle. The petals moved softly in the evening wind. Inside the house lived a young woman. Her name was Oharu. She was known in the village as a kind and quiet person. She did not speak loudly. She did not laugh often. But when she spoke, her voice was warm. When she smiled, it was soft and calm. When someone needed help, she was always there. If an old woman needed water, Oharu would carry it for her. If a child felt afraid, Oharu would kneel down and speak gently. "It's all right," she would say. "There is nothing to worry about." Her words were simple, but they made people feel at peace. And yet, there was something about her, something that people could not quite understand. It was not fear, it was not dislike, but there was always a small distance, a quiet space that no one stepped into. Oharu lived alone. No family came to visit. No close friends stayed long. She was always kind, always gentle, but always alone. That evening, Oharu sat by the window. She rested her hands softly in her lap. She looked at the sky as the sun slowly disappeared. The colors changed little by little. Orange became soft pink. Pink faded into pale purple. Then the sky turned deep blue. The first star appeared, small, quiet. Oharu watched it carefully. "It is a peaceful night," she whispered. Her voice was almost too soft to hear. After a while, she stood up. She moved slowly, as if she did not want to disturb the silence. She lit a small lamp. The flame flicked gently. Soft light filled the room. She began to prepare her meal. Rice steamed quietly in a pot. The lid moved slightly as the heat rose. Soup warmed over the fire. Small bubbles formed and disappeared. The sound was soft and steady. Oharu walked with calm hands. She cut vegetables slowly. Each movement was careful. Each sound was quiet. When the meal was ready, she sat down. She held her bowl gently. She ate slowly. She did not rush. Each bite was small. Each moment paused quietly. When she finished, she cleaned everything. She washed the dishes carefully. She wiped the table with a soft cloth. She placed each item back where it belonged. Soon, the house became still again. Outside, the night had fully arrived. The moon rose slowly into the sky. Its light was pale and gentle. It spread softly across the ground. Oharu stood near the window again. She looked up at the moon. Her eyes reflected its quiet light. "Tonight again," she whispered. Her voice carried a small hidden feeling. Something like sadness. Something like acceptance. She closed her eyes for a moment. Then, knock, knock. A soft sound came from the door. Oharu opened her eyes. She turned slowly. The house remained silent. She walked to the entrance. Her steps were quiet. When she opened the door, a man stood outside. He looked tired. His clothes were covered with dust. His hair moved slightly in the night breeze. He bowed politely. "Excuse me," he said. "I have been walking since morning. My body is very tired." He hesitated for a moment. Then he continued. "If it is possible, may I stay here for one night?" Oharu looked at him carefully. Her eyes were calm. She did not answer immediately. The wind moved softly between them. The night air felt cool and gentle. After a moment, she gave a small nod. "Yes," she said. "You may stay." The traveler lowered his head deeply. "Thank you very much," he said. He stepped inside. The door closed quietly behind him. Inside, the house felt warm. The lamp light flickered softly. The shadows moved gently on the walls. "Please sit," Oharu said. The traveler sat down slowly. His shoulders relaxed just a little. Oharu prepared another bowl of food. Simple, warm. The traveler began to eat. He took a small bite, then another. "This is very good," he said softly. Oharu nodded. "I am glad," she replied. They spoke quietly as they ate. "I have been traveling for many days," the man said. "I came from a town far beyond the mountains." Oharu listened carefully. Her eyes were calm. "I walked along rivers," he continued. "They shined under the sun. I passed through forests. The trees were tall and quiet." Oharu imagined those places. Her expression softened slightly. "That sounds beautiful," she said. The traveler gave a small smile. "Yes," he said, "it was very beautiful." The night deepened slowly. The fire grew smaller. The air became cooler. After some time, Oharu stood. "You must be tired," she said. "I will prepare a place for you to sleep." She laid out a futon, carefully, neatly. "You may sleep here," she said. The traveler bowed his head. "Thank you," he replied. Oharu paused for a moment. Then she added softly, "I will sleep in the next room." The traveler nodded. "Good night," he said. "Good night," Oharu answered. The lamplight dimmed. The fire became quiet. Outside, the wind moved through the trees. Inside, the house became still. The traveler lay down. He closed his eyes. His breathing slowly became deep. In the next room, Oharu lay down. Her face was calm. Her breathing was gentle. The moon rose higher. The night grew deeper. Everything seemed peaceful. Everything seemed quiet. But in that quiet darkness, very slowly, something began to change. The night grew deeper. The moon rose higher into the sky. Its pale light entered the house quietly. It slipped through the window. It rested gently on the floor. Inside the house, everything was still. The fire had almost gone out. Only a faint warmth remained. The lamp was dim. The shadows were soft. In the next room, Oharu lay sleeping. Her face was calm. Her breathing was slow and gentle. Her hands rested quietly beside her. For a while, nothing moved. The night remained still. The night remained silent. Then, very slowly, something began to change. Oharu's breathing shifted. Just a little. Almost too small to notice. Her neck began to stretch. Slowly, so slowly that it did not seem real. At first, it was only a little longer, then a little more, and then even longer. Her head lifted softly from the futon. It rose into the air. Her eyes were still closed. Her expression remained peaceful. Her long neck extended through the dim room. It moved like a soft shadow. It made no sound. The moonlight touched her face. Her pale skin looked almost like it was growing. Her head floated gently, as if carried by a quiet wind. She did not wake. She did not speak. She only drifted. The door between the rooms stood slightly open. Her head moved toward it. Slowly, gently. Her long neck flowed, stretching further and further. It passed through the doorway like a silent thread. In the other room, the traveler was sleeping, but his sleep was not deep. He turned slightly. His breathing changed. Then his eyes opened just a little. Something felt strange. The air felt different. He remained still, listening. There was no sound, no footsteps, no voice. But something was there. He slowly opened his eyes wider. At first, he saw only shadows, soft shapes in the dim light. Then something moved, a long, thin shape, floating in the air. His heart began to beat faster. He did not understand what he was seeing. The shape moved closer, very slowly. Then he saw it clearly, a face, Oharu's face. Her eyes were open, but they were not fully awake. They looked distant, quiet, empty. Her long neck stretched behind her, across the room, through the doorway. The traveler froze. He could not move. He could not speak. His body felt cold. Oharu's head drifted slowly through the room. Her eyes moved gently, as if she was searching for something. Her expression was calm, but there was no awareness, no recognition. He passed near the wall, then near the small table. Her movement was smooth, like water, like a slow dream. The traveler held his breath. He did not want to be seen. Time passed very slowly. Each second felt long, very long. Oharu's head moved closer to him. He could see her clearly now. Her face was soft. Her lips were slightly parted. Her eyes moved gently, but they did not look at him. It was as if she was somewhere else, somewhere far away. The traveler's heart beat loudly in his chest. But still he did not move. Then Oharu's head stopped. It remained still in the air. For a moment, everything became completely silent. Even the wind seemed to pause. The traveler felt his breath become tight. Please, he thought quietly, go back. Then slowly, very slowly, her head turned, away from him. Her long neck followed, sliding gently through the air. She moved toward the doorway again. Her head passed through first, then the long neck. It stretched and stretched. then slowly disappeared into the other room. The traveler remained still. His body did not move. The room felt empty again. Only the faint moonlight remained. He slowly exhaled. "What was that?" he whispered. His voice was barely a sound. He sat there in silence. He did not lie down again. He did not close his eyes. He waited. He listened. But nothing else happened. The night slowly passed. The moon moved across the sky. The darkness softened little by little. And at last, morning began to come. Morning came quietly. Soft light entered the room. It spread slowly across the floor. The air felt fresh. The night's stillness gently faded away. Outside, birds began to sing. Their voices were light and calm. The traveler had not slept. He sat where he had been all night. His body felt tired. His mind was still full of questions. Slowly he stood up. His movements were careful, almost as if he was afraid to disturb something. He looked around the room. Everything was normal. The table, the walls, the door. Nothing had changed. He took a slow breath. Then he stepped into the next room. Oharu was not there. For a moment his heart tightened. But then he heard a soft sound from the kitchen. He followed the sound quietly. Oharu was standing by the fire. She was preparing breakfast. Her movements were calm, just like the night before. She turned slightly when she noticed him. "Good morning," she said softly. "Did you sleep well?" Her voice was gentle. Her expression was peaceful. The traveler looked at her carefully. Her neck was normal. Her appearance was the same as before. For a moment he said nothing. Then he gave a small nod. "Good morning," he replied. He sat down slowly. Oharu placed a simple meal in front of him. Rice, soup, warm tea. "Please eat," she said. "Thank you," he answered. They began to eat in silence. The sound of their movements was soft. The room felt calm. But inside the traveler's heart something remained. He hesitated. Then slowly he spoke. "Last night," he said. Oharu stopped moving, just for a moment. Then she looked at him. "Yes?" she asked. Her voice was steady. The traveler lowered his eyes. Then he looked at her again. "I saw something," he said quietly. The air in the room became still. "I woke up in the night," he continued, "and I saw your head." He paused. It was floating. Oharu did not speak. "And your neck," he said softly. It became very long. Silence filled the room. Oharu slowly placed her hands in her lap. She closed her eyes for a moment. Then she opened them again. I see, she said. Her voice was quiet, but not surprised. The traveler watched her. You are not mistaken, she continued. She lowered her gaze slightly. I am a Rokurokubi. The words were soft, almost like they disappeared into the air. At night, my neck stretches. It happens while I sleep. She spoke slowly, carefully. I do not remember everything, but I know it happens. Her hand rested still. It has always been this way, she said. The traveler listened quietly. He felt no fear now, only a quiet feeling. Does it hurt? He asked gently. Oharu shook her head. No, she said. It does not hurt. She looked toward the window. The morning light touched her face. But, she continued, it makes me lonely. Her voice became softer. I cannot tell anyone. If they know, they will be afraid. She paused. So I live quietly. I do not get close to others. The traveler nodded slowly. I understand, he said. Oharu looked at him. Are you afraid of me? She asked. Her voice was very soft. The traveler shook his head. I was surprised, he said. But I am not afraid. Oharu's eyes softened. Thank you, she whispered. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The room was filled with gentle light. The sound of birds continued outside. It must be difficult, the traveler said quietly. Oharu gave a small nod. But I am used to it, she said. She smiled a little, a very small smile. Still, she added, it is nice to speak about it. The traveler smiled softly. I will keep your secret, he said. Oharu looked at him again. Her eyes were calm, but there was warmth inside them. Thank you, she said. The morning passed quietly, and for the first time in a long while, Oharu did not feel completely alone. The morning passed gently. Soft light filled the small house. The air felt warm and calm. The traveler finished his meal. He sat quietly for a while, as if he did not want to disturb the peaceful moment. Oharu cleaned the dishes. Her movements were slow and careful. The sound of water was soft. After a while, the traveler stood up. I should go now, he said. Oharu turned to him. She gave a small nod. Yes, she said. The road is long. The traveler picked up his bag. It was light, but his step felt a little heavier than before. He walked to the door. Oharu followed him. She opened the door gently. Fresh air entered the house. Outside, The sky was clear. The sun was already rising higher. They stood at the entrance for a moment. Neither of them spoke. The wind moved softly through the trees. The leaves made a quiet sound. "Thank you for letting me stay," the traveler said. Oharu bowed her head slightly. "Thank you for coming," she replied. There was a small silence, a calm and gentle silence. The traveler gave a small smile. Then he stepped outside. He began to walk along the quiet path, slowly. Oharu watched him. She stood at the door. Her hands rested gently at her sides. The traveler did not look back at first. He simply walked, listening to the sound of his own steps. But after a few moments, he stopped. He turned around. Oharu was still there, standing quietly. Their eyes met one last time. The traveler raised his hand slightly, a small, silent gesture. Oharu gave a gentle nod. Then he turned again, and this time he continued walking. Little by little, his figure became smaller, until at last he disappeared beyond the trees. Oharu remained at the door for a while. The wind moved softly around her. The sunlight touched her face. Then she slowly closed the door. The house became quiet again. The day passed slowly. Oharu cleaned. She prepared food. She sat by the window. Everything was the same as before. And yet, something felt a little different. When evening came, the sky changed color once again. Orange, pink, then deep blue. The first star appeared. Oharu looked at it. Her eyes were calm. "It is quiet tonight," she whispered. But this time, her voice felt a little warmer. The moon rose slowly into the sky. Its light spread gently across the village. The night became still. Inside the small house, Oharu lay down. Her breathing was soft. Her face was peaceful. And once again, very slowly, her neck began to stretch. Her head lifted into the air. Her eyes remained closed. She drifted quietly in the moonlight, like a gentle shadow, like a silent dream. Outside, the wind moved through the trees. The leaves whispered softly. Far away, the traveler walked along a quiet road. The same moon shone above him. He looked up for a moment. Then he smiled softly. He remembered the small house, the gentle light, the quiet voice. He remembered Oharu, not with fear, but with kindness. He continued walking, slowly, peacefully. The night held its quiet secrets. And somewhere in a small house at the edge of a village, a gentle spirit moved softly in the dark. Unseen, unheard, but no longer completely alone. the story is finished. So I hope you can relax. So thank you for watching. Good night and have a good weekend. Bye.